Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I have two builds to show you, and the first one is using the Jotuns. They are mounted on a platform with a dead man cab, a presser engine, a flywheel, and lots of baby tracks. As usual, I go for faster real load and great acceleration. But the top speed is only 95 because that's the speed cap on the tracks. The perk on the baby tracks gives you 20% less spread when driving at 80 or above. But we don't really need less spread with these guns, so I mainly use them for the maneuvering you can do and the resistances they have. For anyone playing on console, I have put a build guide for both today's builds at the end of this video. If you don't have the tracks, you can always use some wheels instead. But it's the way that you can move with the baby tracks that makes this build shine. You'll see in the upcoming match. Before we go, I'll show you the way these things aim and how much damage they can do. Let's start off by trying to fish for numbers. It's a little tricky, but sometimes you can get lucky. I guess it's not my lucky day. Let's shoot at something a little closer. This weapon deals cryogenic damage, so basically you freeze the target. When you freeze a target, they will lose their resistances entirely, and pass-through parts can't be shot through. This is particularly devastating to the Raging builds out there. The Jotun is a support weapon, so your job will be to freeze the enemies so your team can deal more damage to them. This weapon deals periodic damage. The more durability the target has, the bigger the damage numbers, but as the durability depletes, so does the damage they deal. This can put you into awkward situations when a target has very little durability and you don't get a direct hit. You will take damage from driving into the puddles the projectile leaves behind, so be careful. Your teammates, on the other hand, won't, so a good tactic can sometimes be to aim at your teammates. It can turn the tide of a battle because even if you don't hit anything, enemies will try to avoid driving into the puddles, and that in turn can give your team the upper hand. See how fast I can stop and do a 180 with the baby tracks? It's so good, and at the same time it's so easy to drift with them too. I wish they worked with the Satori, but sadly, they don't. That's a Raijin. They don't like getting frozen because they know that all that damage resistance on their weapon will disappear. Sometimes you gotta go through your own puddles, but just be careful and you'll be fine. Hitting enemies up close like that is usually not a good idea with this weapon. I normally don't care, so I do that every chance I get. If I have a 100% chance to hit the enemy, I will do it, even if it damages me as well. Or, at least most of the time. I think this match is over very soon. Good game, everyone. Let's do one more before we go back to the garage to check out the other build we're going to take a look at today. This spot is really good with this weapon because you can stay in cover while aiming using the mini-map. By the way, I forgot to mention that the Jotun also slows down enemies when they get frozen. That's like the best part of the effect. How could I forget? But you already knew that anyway. Let's push up with the team so we can get a little closer and try to land some cleaner shots. 1 damage. Very impressive. It can be tricky sometimes to predict where you think your target will be. Everything is in motion, and there's so many factors to consider. So if you miss a shot, don't worry. Just try again, and you'll get the hang of it eventually. Or you could do like me and just shoot in the general direction. I don't really care that much when I get into these matches where my team just deletes the enemy team like it's nothing. It's weird how that happens so often, and also the other way around. Anyway, let's take a look at the next build. This is a hover with the harpy cap and a set of incinerators. You may wonder why I'm not using the blight cap. Well, I don't own it, so harpy will do. I want to point out that I found this build on exhibition, but I don't know who built it because it's all over the place. So I just fixed it up a little, gave it a paint job, and here we are. It's using a cheetah engine, but I'll probably swap that out for an oppressor later. It's using a flywheel to speed up the weapon reload and Maxwell radar so we can see enemies on the mini-map. Let's take a look at how they aim and the damage they deal on a large target, and then take it into a couple of matches. Now that I'm on a hovercraft, I can move more freely. This comes with a drawback though, because sometimes when you aim close range in front of you, and you suddenly have to reverse with hovers, they dip the whole build and you can't hit that close. And this is why you see so many builds built in a way that the front touches the ground. It's to work around the dip of doom. But you can also use this drawback to your advantage, because you will be able to lob the projectiles further if you time it right. I'm getting some decent hits on the other side. As you can see, this weapon is similar to the previous one, only this one shoots projectiles that explode on hit, leaving behind a large puddle of flames. Anything caught in the flames will take damage the same way as the Jotuns, and it will heat up the target. The more heated they are, the more damage they receive when hit, up to a 100% more. The amount of flames you can have in play is amazing. You should try this with a king and Hadron setup to get insane reload, and then just set the whole map on fire. It's incredibly fun. It seems I caught the attention of that droner. Time to back it up. I missed both my shots because I wasn't able to aim close enough. And here comes the drones. When you get caught like this, it's pretty much over. So I think this is a GG. Let's do one more match, and then I'll show you how to build both this build and the previous one. This map is great. I like all the structures and all the stuff you can hide behind. Normally the fighting happens near the middle, so having weapons like the incinerator or Jotun can be very effective here. What I like the most with all the weapons that have this kind of aim is that I can close off areas and force the enemy team to go in a certain direction. If you do it right, you can control the movement of the match with surprising effect. What I'm doing here is that I'm moving using the mini-map. I try my best to have a few teammates near me while lobbing flames everywhere. I don't stand a chance if I end up alone and get caught, so having some friends around is a smart move. Here they come, so it's time to move. So again, I'm looking at the mini-map and moving to where most of my team is. Your best chance is always to stay with the team, but in certain situations you can of course have some success going off alone. But it's risky, and you risk getting a whisper in some language you don't understand. But it's perfectly okay. I do it too sometimes. That player is caught in some serious flames. It doesn't do that much damage to them now that they have low durability, but a direct hit would finish the job. I got both of them. It's not every day I get a double kill like that. Only one left, and we can go back to the garage so I can show our console players how to put these things together. If you're on PC, you can ask me in-game, or check out my exhibition if you want any of my builds. I can't promise to keep all of them, because I constantly build new stuff and need room to save them. Good game. Let's head back home. So here's the framework for the hover. I'm gonna do my best to show all the parts. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but I still find it kinda tricky to remember 80 parts in reverse, if you know what I mean. This build is using the fast hovers, but you can use the slower ones if you want. You can also use whatever parts you want for armor. Just don't put on too much because it will impact your acceleration, and trust me, you don't want that. You can also swap out the engine for an oppressor. And if you want even faster reload, you can take the Maxwell off and swap out the flywheel for a Cyclops. Don't forget though, this is a support build, and the Maxwell is great for your whole team, so choose wisely. Okay, let's take a look at the other build with the Jotuns. Oh look, Brian just got online.
What it do?
There is a bot in this game called Brian. It's not the same person as the Brian I know. My friend Brian is not a bot, and he doesn't play this magnificent, not so free-to-play game. But he loves it when I tell him all about the new updates and all the new stuff we get to purchase every year in Crossout. Like I mentioned earlier, you can swap out the tracks for wheels. It's gonna make the build faster, but you lose the maneuverability of the baby tracks. So, we made it to the end of yet another video. As usual, I want to say thank you for hanging around. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I'd appreciate if you leave a like. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's free after all. I wish you a fantastic day wherever you may be, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.